Hey guys, welcome back. So today's chapters are super interesting. I don't want to say too much right now because I want you to read them with me first, and um, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. Because I don't want to say what I'm thinking now because I don't want to what's the word, like put any ideas in your head before you read it yourself with me. So I think I'm just gonna just start the chapters today. Let's go through it, and then at the end, I'm gonna tell you what I think, um, or what I thought when I was reading to today's chapters. So when I make these videos in the morning, when I record the chapters for each day, I do them while I'm doing my makeup. And usually I just listen and I just kind of casually listen. Sometimes I don't even listen at all because I'm distracted. But today's chapters caught my attention, and I actually stopped what I was doing and listened for the whole thing. So, I don't know, just super interesting. And I want to tell you my thoughts, but I also don't want to put anything in your head before you read the chapters for yourself. So, let's get into it, and then I will tell you what I think when we're done.
The wings of the ostrich wave proudly, but are her wings and pinions like the kindly stork's? For she leaves her eggs on the ground and warms them in the dust. She forgets that a foot may crush them, or that a wild beast may break them. She treats her young harshly, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain, without concern, because God deprived her of wisdom and did not endow her with understanding. When she lifts herself on high, she scorns the horse and its rider. Have you given the horse strength? Have you clothed his neck with thunder? Can you frighten him like a locust? His majestic snorting strikes terror. He paws in the valley and rejoices in his strength. He gallops into the clash of arms. He mocks at fear and is not frightened, nor does he turn back from the sword. The quiver rattles against him, the glittering spear and javelin. He devours the distance with fierceness and rage, nor does he come to a halt because the trumpet has sounded. At the blast of the trumpet, he says, "Aha!" He smells the battle from afar, the thunder of captains and shouting. Does the hawk fly by your wisdom and spread its wings toward the south? Does the eagle mount up at your command and make its nest on high? On the rock it dwells and resides, on the crag of the rock and the stronghold. From there it spies out the prey. Its eyes observe from afar. Its young ones suck up blood, and where the slain are, there it is. Moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, "Shall the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? He who rebukes God, let him answer it." Then Job answered the Lord and said, "Behold, I am vile. What shall I answer you? I lay my hand over my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I will not answer. Yes, twice, but I will proceed no further." Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, "Now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Would you indeed annul my judgment? Would you condemn me that you may be justified? Have you an arm like God? Or can you thunder with a voice like his?"
So right here, I feel like God's basically saying to Job, like, are you do you know more than I? Do you know more than me, God? Like, who you'll see is created everything, is in charge of everything. It's basically almost feels like it's just reminding Job, like, hey, like, I'm God, and I know everything, and I know best, and I'm just, and I am, you know, God.
Then adorn yourself with majesty and splendor, and array yourself with glory and beauty. Disperse the rage of your wrath. Look on everyone who is proud and humble him. Look on everyone who is proud and bring him low. Tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together. Bind their faces in hidden darkness. Then I will also confess to you that your own right hand can save you. Look now at the behemoth, which I made along with you. He eats grass like an ox. See now, his strength is in his hips, and his power is in his stomach muscles. He moves his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are tightly knit. His bones are like beams of bronze, his ribs like bars of iron. He is the first of the ways of God. Only he who made him can bring near his sword. Surely the mountains yield food for him, and all the beasts of the field play there. He lies under the lotus trees, in a covert of reeds and marsh. The lotus trees cover him with their shade. The willows by the brook surround him. Indeed, the river may rage, yet he is not disturbed. He is confident, though the Jordan gushes into his mouth, though he takes it in his eyes, or one pierces his nose with a snare. Can you draw out Leviathan with a hook, or snare his tongue with the line which you lower? Can you put a reed through his nose, or pierce his jaw with a hook? Will he make many supplications to you? Will he speak softly to you? Will he make a covenant with you? Will you take him as a servant forever? Will you play with him as with the bird, or will you leash him for your maidens? Will your companions make a banquet of him? Will they apportion him among the merchants? Can you fill his skin with harpoons, or his head with fishing spears? Lay your hand on him. Remember the battle. Never do it again. Indeed, any hope of overcoming him is false. Shall one not be overwhelmed at the sight of him? No one is so fierce that he would dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has preceded me that I should pay him? Everything under heaven is mine. I will not conceal his limbs, his mighty power, or his graceful proportions. Who can remove his outer coat? Who can approach him with a double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face with his terrible teeth all around? His rows of scales are his pride, shut up tightly as with a seal. One is so near another that no air can come between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together and cannot be parted. His sneezings flash forth light, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lights. Sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke goes out of his nostrils as from a boiling pot, and burning rushes. His breath kindles coals, and a flame goes out of his mouth. Strength dwells in his neck, and sorrow dances before him. The folds of his flesh are joined together. They are firm on him and cannot be moved. His heart is as hard as stone, even as hard as the lower millstone. When he raises himself up, the mighty are afraid. Because of his crashings, they are beside themselves. Though the sword reaches him, it cannot avail, nor does spear, dart, or javelin. He regards iron as straw, and bronze as rotten wood. The arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones become like stubble to him. Darts are regarded as straw. He laughs at the threat of javelins. His undersides are like sharp potsherds. He spreads pointed marks in the mire. He makes the deep boil like a pot. He makes the sea like a pot of ointment. He leaves a shining wake behind him. One would think the deep had white hair. On earth, there is nothing like him, which is made without fear. He beholds every high thing. He is king over all the children of pride. Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that you can do everything, and that no purpose of yours can be withheld from you. You asked, "Who is this who hides counsel without knowledge?" Therefore I have uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. Listen, please, and let me speak. You said, "I will question you, and you shall answer me." I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. Therefore I abhor myself and repent in dust and ashes. And so it was, after the Lord had spoken these words to Job, that the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, "My wrath is aroused against you and your two friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. Now, therefore, take for yourselves 7 bulls and 7 rams. Go to my servant Job and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering. And my servant Job shall pray for you. For I will accept him, lest I deal with you according to your folly, because you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has." So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite went and did as the Lord commanded them, for the Lord had accepted Job.
Okay, guys, interesting chapters. Well, first, the conversation between Job and God is very fascinating. Because, like, a lot of it made me feel like God was telling Job, like, you know, like almost like putting Job in his place, like reminding him, like, hey, I'm God. Have you created all of these things? Are you in control of all of these things? You know, like, and then the other part of it is like, also like, is like God saying, okay, well, my servant Job said what was right of me, spoke of me correctly. So I'm not entirely like fully clear on what exactly God and Job's conversation was getting at. But I mean, my first time reading the Bible, I don't know everything. I don't have the full Bible as context. I'm reading things piece by piece. Like I said yesterday or the day before, you know, I feel like I'm doing a puzzle right now where I'm trying to see the full picture, but I can't because I'm doing little sections at a time of the puzzle. And so I'm trying to just be patient and work on each section, and then eventually I'll have the whole picture. And then when I go to do, you know, read the Bible again, it'll be a little bit easier to navigate it and investigate it and study it more to really, really understand what is being said. What is God trying to tell us? What is God trying to tell us in these stories and these messages and these in the Bible? So I'm trying not to be like too hard on myself if I don't fully understand what I'm reading, because it is my first time. So, you know, just a friendly reminder, if this is your first time reading it too, or you're struggling also, be kind to yourself, okay? Be kind. You know, just do the best you can. And, you know, worst case scenario, pray and ask God for help, because that's the best thing you can do. Because, you know, the Bible comes from Him, you know. I mean, I know He didn't physically write it, but He used people to make the Bible. So the one and only person you should be asking for help would be God, you know. Pray and ask Him for help and understanding what He's trying to tell us, what the Bible is saying, you know, things like that. And then second, so when I was reading these chapters, what really captured my attention, which I don't know if it captured your attention too, was the part about the behemoth or whatever. Immediately when it started describing it, I was like, God, that sounds like a dinosaur. And what I've gathered is there's a lot of people who, because I've Googled stuff, you know, and I even Googled today, I looked at one article about like, is Job, you know, chapters 40 and 41 talking about dinosaurs. And one of the articles, you know, people were just kind of like disputing it and just kind of, but then they're like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, so that was my first thought when I was reading it, and it really captured my attention because I believe in dinosaurs, and that is something that was an obstacle for me in the beginning, which I'm pretty sure I talked about this in my beginning videos. So basically, you know, scientists and people, archaeologists and stuff, think that dinosaurs come millions of years ago. But then, a lot of people are like, oh, well, according to the Bible, we're only like, what, 6,000 years old, the earth and everything. And then there's some people who are like, oh, well, there's depictions on cave walls and stuff of what looks like dinosaurs when there was humans around. So there's like a lot of people that are like all over the place. So for me, when in the beginning, I was like, well, how can I believe in the Bible if I believe in dinosaurs? And I even asked my husband's family, and they were all over the place with their answers too. One person was like, who cares? And then another person was like, I don't believe in dinosaurs. And then another person was like, I don't know, but I don't really care. And it was just like all over the place. Like they didn't really like bother to get any answers. But I believe in dinosaurs. I mean, they have like actual, fossils and things that they've dug up, like this is like a real thing that people have dug up and study and have their lives devoted to. So I definitely believe in dinosaurs. But the timeline and all of that and what happened to them and how they disappeared and all of that, for me, I eventually just kind of was like, okay, like those details, I don't really concern myself with because this is the one thing that helped me. So I was watching a video and this guy was like, well, think about it. When God created Adam, he didn't create a little baby and then grew up to be an adult. He created Adam as an adult already. But, so let's say Adam was 25 years old. Nowadays, scientists would be like, okay, well, he's 25. So, he would have had to been a baby and have 25 years and stuff. Well, the guy in the video was like, well, God created Adam with built-in age. So God created Adam already as let's just say, just use 25 as the age. He already built Adam as a 25-year-old. Adam didn't have to go through the baby stage and teenager stage and all of that. God just automatically created him as a 25-year-old. So what's to say that logic doesn't apply to other things like the creation of Earth and the universe, the creation of dinosaurs, all kinds of stuff. So to me, that thought alone was like opened my mind to the fact that there are just so many possibilities out there that are out of our human understanding, and we just have to accept that. I mean, what they didn't come up with the Big Bang Theory until how long ago? Not that long ago, right? And the Big Bang Theory resonates, very similarly to the beginning of the Bible in Genesis, where God just created the earth and just kind of turned on the light, and created everything in like a quick little instant. And we didn't that theory, the Big Bang Theory, wasn't developed until not that long ago. So it's just, there are some things, yeah, that scientists and archaeologists and stuff like come up with, but who's to say, that there's also other possibilities out there that are out of our realm of understanding or what's humanly possible, because God can do things that are not humans can't do, like he raised Jesus from the dead 3 days later. He's created a whole universe, and there's so many instances of people where they were either on their deathbed or died or had cancer or something crazy, and then they just healed, and doctors had no explanation at all. And they're like, oh, well, it was a miracle. Well, it was God, because God can do things that humans can't. So why is it, not unreasonable to think that what we think and know about the history of dinosaurs, there could be so many more possibilities that are things that God can do, but we can't. So it's hard for us to comprehend. And then the whole thing with the built-in age and Adam video that I saw, that one was a huge one for me. That one just instantly stopped me in my tracks and made me realize I have to open my mind to the possibility that there's things that I just can't even comprehend, that are way above me and way above human understanding and way above things that I could ever dream of doing, that God can do. So for me, it's like, if God can create a human that's already an adult instantly from the dirt and the dust, and the human, if you look at him, a scientist would be like, oh yeah, this is a 25-year-old, and he had to be a baby and a toddler and a kid and a teenager and all of that to get to being a 25-year-old. Well, not God. God instantly created him already as that, but so I think for me, what helped me with the whole dinosaur debate was I had to just realize that for me personally, I believe in dinosaurs. And for me personally, I just came to the acceptance that the history of dinosaurs is something that there's lots of possibilities on all of that, and I don't need the answers. Having the answers on dinosaurs, all the specifics, is not going to change my life in any way, shape, or form. I still have bills to pay. I still have a daughter to feed. I still have a life to live. I have so many other things on my list of things that occupy my mind than the specific history of dinosaurs. So to me, it was just like, okay, like, I'm going to put this, topic to bed and just accept that, yes, I believe in dinosaurs, and the possibilities of the history of dinosaurs and the specifics of it all are probably, there's probably things that are beyond our understanding as humans, just like, I mean, I couldn't even imagine like seeing an adult human male being brought up from the dirt. And then on top of that, God created an adult female from that adult male's rib. And she was also built in with her age as well. She didn't have to be a baby or a kid or a teenager. So I think that's what helped me with those topics. And whether chapters 41 and 40 were talking about a dinosaur or not, to me, it's not like, it's neither here nor there. Like, it doesn't make that big of a difference for me, whether it's a dinosaur or some type of other animal. He's clearly talking about an animal, it seems like a giant animal too. That's just what I gathered. You can tell me your thoughts if you have a different opinion, but I just found it super fascinating, and I just wanted to share what helped me with not being so like wrapped up in, okay, dinosaurs, are they real, are they not real, does the Bible mention them? Like, I just kind of came to that acceptance of, okay, I personally believe dinosaurs were real and lived on Earth, and the rest of the details I don't need to know. And it is fascinating to me. I have always found dinosaurs to be super fascinating, but whatever the specifics are of the history of dinosaurs and how they lived, and if they lived with humans, and how they died and when they were alive and all of that, I don't I don't need all those answers personally. I just don't. It's not going to make a difference in my day to day. And then I just had to accept that, there's possibilities that God can do things that aren't humanly possible or that humans can even dream of. So that was another thing that I just had to just accept. And accepting those realities of not needing all the answers for things because it's not going to make a difference in my day to day. And then also just accepting that there are things that we just don't understand and probably never will, and that are just above our human understanding. Because God's like eons above us. I mean, we're like probably like ants to God, if not less. But yeah, I just those two things just really like helped me in my journey in the beginning with, you know, this walk with God. So I just wanted to share that. So I don't know. Okay, guys. Well, I hope everyone has a good weekend so far. And I will hopefully be doing a video tomorrow. I don't have anything going on tomorrow. Well, actually, I do, but oh yeah, I do have something tomorrow. I forgot. But I will still try to make a video, I promise. I really want to be more consistent about this, but I know I have been struggling. So, I don't know, guys. It's hard. It's difficult. But I'll do my best. So, if I don't see you guys tomorrow, have a good weekend and I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow or Sunday. So, good night.